your secondary, your blitz packages. I'm curious to know what you think of the responsibility is of scheming pressure versus just guys winning one-on-one up front. How do you balance those?
It's all in the same to me. Every defense that we have, there's an opportunity to win a one-on-one. Whether we're blitzing, whether we're playing, our standard, 4-3 or 3-4, it doesn't matter. Ultimately, that's what the game of football is. It's about winning one-on-one. So I think the balance is what it is. We're trying to win a one-on-one, whether we're blitzing or whether we're in our base concepts.
Jimmy?
Coach, if you take out the Florida game, which had a really good running quarterback, in your other 4 games, you're giving up less than 60 yards a game rushing. You're giving up 1.88 yards per carry. Why do you think you've been so effective against the run?
I don't know. I didn't even know the statistics, to be honest with you. We try to live game by game, quarter by quarter. At the end of the day, we feel like we're trying to play to our players' strength, whatever it is, and obviously as we identify, the strengths and weaknesses of each opponent, we try to put a defense or a plan together that gives us an advantage, So obviously in this day and age, you still got to be able to stop the run. But at the end of the day, to me, it's just based on their personnel and how we utilize them and, giving them the best chance to be successful.
Patrick?
Coach, Nico Slaughter and Omari McDonald got quite a bit of playing time the other day. How did you assess how they played, and what does that do maybe for their earning your trust to know you can throw them in there and they can get the job done?
Yeah, I thought they played extremely hard. They understand what the standard is. So they got their opportunity, and I thought for the most part, those guys answered the bell. So, we'll continue to evaluate every week, and as I've said, many, many times, you get what you earn. Those guys earned some opportunities, and, when they got them, I thought they did a really good job of taking advantage of it.
Rob?
Coach, Byron Young obviously not played a lot. Just kind of getting his feet wet, but what have you seen from him, I guess, in the 3 games that he's been out there?
Yeah, we're excited about BY. He's a tremendous kid. He works extremely hard. Obviously, missing the first couple games, set his development back. But we're pleased with the direction he's headed. I think he'll be the first one to tell you he's still some plays that, he would love to have back that he think he could execute better on. But we think the sky's the limit, as he continues to get more reps. I think he'll continue to grow, and, and obviously as he grows, I think the better we'll be.
Vince?
What kind of growth and development have you seen in Omari Thomas?
Yeah, Big O has been battling. He really is. He's a pleasant kid to be around. It's extremely important to him, and to see him start to have some success is gratifying. Just because we know how hard he works. So, again, he knows there's some things he wants to get better at, but he's working at it. And to me, that's all we can ask as a coach. It's our job to make sure these kids all reach their full potential, whatever that is. We still feel like Big O has more potential in him. We're working extremely hard to get it out of him.
Your offense obviously is aggressive, and it seems like you're coaching defense in that way too. Were there any conversations about the defensive approach in terms of aggression matching what you do on offense?
No, I think at the end of the day, again, that the style of play in which we want to play on offense, defense, and special teams is just universal. We want to be aggressive in everything we do. And again, aggressive doesn't necessarily mean you're blitzing every snap. It's just, how you go about your business. Again, whether it's our front 4, whether we're in man coverage, whether we're in cover 2, we want to be the aggressor. That's just what it is. So I think you can see that obviously on offense, defense, and our special teams.
Brent and Wes?
Yeah, Coach, 5 games in, how would you describe the personality of this defense?
Yeah, I think it's tough. I think we're a tough defense. I think we're a defense that plays hard. I think we're a defense that shows a lot of pride. We love our kids. We're excited about them. We call them the few, the proud. But I think when you look at us, I think what we do, we play extremely hard, and at the end of the day, that's all I can ask for, and as coaches, we'll do the best that we can to put them in the best positions to be successful as long as they're working their tails off, and those guys are really working hard.
Are you further along than you thought you would be, about where you thought you would be with this defense when you talk about this group in the preseason?
I know you're going to get mad, but I'm going to be honest. You know, I try not to even think that way. You know, we try to live day by day. You know, I wasn't sure, you know, hadn't coached those guys in the game. So, you know, we based on everything that we saw in the spring, everything we saw in the summer. You know, we tried to learn from it as a coach day to day, you know, and then put those guys out on the field to give them the best opportunity to be successful. So the expectation is, again, that we play hard, that we play physical. The execution point, you know, obviously that's on us to make sure we're putting them in the best positions. It's obviously on those kids to actually digest what we're giving them. But those are unknowns. You know, you don't know that. All we can do is, you know, adhere to our process, working our tails off, and then obviously the outcome and the product, you know, will speak for itself.
Tim, obviously, being the defensive coordinator at a place like Tennessee is a job that would get a lot of people's attention, but when you looked at some of the numbers from Josh Heupel's offense and the time of possession, what his teams usually have, did that give you some pause in terms of, I don't want to have a defense on the field for 38 minutes a game or whatever?
No, I don't. I honestly, I don't worry about things that I can't control. You know, we worry about what we can control. You know, and if we get an opportunity to go play defense, you know, we love that. You know, so every chance we're out there, you know, we live for the first down, second down, third down, fourth down, and then we're off the field. You know, and if we're back on, you know, right away, or we're on the field, you know, 10 plays later, you know, it does not matter to us. You know, we just want to have an opportunity to play football, and that's the mentality we have as a staff, and that's the mentality that our players have.
Ben and Jimmy.
Tim, just what are Aaron Beasley and Jeremy Banks doing so well? It seems like they're really getting better week to week.
Yeah, they're working hard. You know, they really are. I think, you know, Coach BJ has done a great job of continuing to develop those guys. You know, Banks always plays hard. You know, he has tremendous energy, tremendous passion for the game. You know, it's obviously some things that, you know, we're still working through to make him the best version of himself that he can be. But I think at the end of the day, if you have that want to, you know, we're willing as coaches, and he has the want to, so he's getting better that way. And I'll say the same thing for Beasley. You know, I think Beasley's always had pretty good instincts, I think, you know, based on a little bit I saw of him in the spring. So I think as he's starting to get, you know, more comfortable in what we're doing, I think you're starting to see him play better.
And Matthew Butler's playing a ton of snaps right now. What allows him to do so, even as a big guy?
He's just a warrior. You know, the way he practices, you know, every single rep, you know, really embodies what we talk about. You know, you live and die with, you know, a one-rep mentality. So his one rep in practice looks exactly like his one rep on Saturday. So I think he's just trained his body, he's conditioned his mind to be able to go as hard as he can possibly go for as long as he can possibly go. And I know that may sound like, you know, some coach speak, but that's really truly how he practices. You know, we don't have very many guys who practice as hard as he practices.
In regard to when you look at the stat sheet after the game, how important is tackles for loss?
You know, I think it always plays a factor, you know, in terms of, you know, how you want to play. Because obviously if you can, you know, put them in a lot of long situations, you know, you like to think it plays in our hands. So, again, man, I feel crazy saying it, but I don't really look at it as much. You know, we truly look at, you know, our tackle efficiency is important. You know, how well did we tackle? You know, obviously if we're playing aggressive and playing with the mindset that we want to play with, I think the TFLs will take care of itself. And, you know, obviously if we're playing behind the line of scrimmage, it obviously does speak volumes for putting us in a situation to be successful on, you know, latter downs.
And what are your thoughts on South Carolina's offense?
Yeah, I mean, I think they do a really good job. You know, they got, you know, multiple backs that do a really good job, you know, within their scheme. You know, I think, you know, obviously getting their quarterback back, you know, is kind of solidified, you know, what they want to do in terms of their passing game. And, you know, they have some wide outs, you know, they can really tear the top off the coverage, and, you know, it's made really, you know, big plays against everyone they've played, you know, down the field. So they have some threats, you know, and they got two really good tight ends that are, you know, pretty physical guys, and, you know, are also very adequate in the passing game. So, you know, it's going to take a collective 11, you know, to be able to, you know, get after these guys and play hard against them.
Last question, Brent.
Yeah, Coach, you mentioned you want to be in those third and long situations. I think Missouri got hit 4 of them for you in the first half. What's the key to being as efficient as you want to be when you have a team in 3rd and 8? What's key?
Yeah, I think, you know, just understanding exactly what the situation is and understand very clearly, you know, how many yards they need to be able to, you know, complete a first down. And We're always going to try to mix it up, in terms of what we're doing. But ultimately, every single person on that defense, every single person that's on the field needs to know what the situation is. Is it 3rd and 5? Is it 3rd and 8? Is it 3rd and 1? And then obviously within the framework of our defense being able to execute. So I think to answer your question, we just got to be very clear and very direct in terms of what is the situation and then execute accordingly.
All right. Thank you, Coach.
Okay. Appreciate you guys. All right.